I remember when we drove that Friday morning from the oncologist and all the facts laid on the table of chemo and cancer and tumors, and I remember the one thing that stood out in the conversation was God said, He promised us children, and it was just finding faith to hold on to that. So about 10 years ago, after trying to fall pregnant for about 2 years, we decided to go for checkups. And so Sonja raised her hand saying she'll go first, and so she went to a gynae, and they did some sonars and tests, called her back for some extra blood tests. And I remember so clearly, it was a Wednesday morning that they phoned her saying we should come in immediately. They found some stuff that they're concerned about. And in that stage of our lives, being an itinerant ministry, we really were at a place where we wanted to put God first in all things. And so I remember so clearly saying to them, we'll come Friday morning. What they didn't know is we were like, we felt like this was maybe something, and we just wanted to honor God with the first and ask Him to, if there's something, speak to us or heal Sonja or whatever. And the reason for Friday morning is it was on our way to a ministry camp that we did. A ladies' camp. We prayed obviously the couple of days, and then Friday morning drove in, sound packed in the car, ready for this women's camp, but nervous about what could come out of this conversation. So we had such a hope in our hearts that we'd fall pregnant. We had promises of children. And then the conversation, she immediately spoke that they found an aggressive cancer.
They think,
yes. Yeah. On Sonja's ovaries. They're going to,
and the blood counts were very high, so she's very concerned.
And the sonars that they took, they were, they saw tumors all over. And so the gynae said to us that she works with this daily, and she hardly sees anything as aggressive as what she's seen in Sonja. And I remember, you in your mind, you're getting ready for a women's camp, and suddenly they're speaking chemotherapy and treatments, and most probably they will, in surgery, cut out everything, and our chances of having a child normal birth would be very little. They said Sonja needs to come in today. The surgeon needs to open up today. This is how they felt in their hearts. This is how serious it was and how aggressive the cancer was. And again, I don't know why, but we said to them, no, we have ministry to do the weekend. She can come on the Monday morning, actually. And we drove away, and it was terrifying. And we prayed, what do we do with this? We have this hope and this promise of children and this desire. Now we're talking chemo, and we're talking maybe, in surgery taking out everything, and what if the cancer spread? And it's all these things that they put on the table. And but on the way to ministry, I think we kind of just gave it to the Lord, and we said we've got a ministry weekend. We started Friday evening with the women's camp, and the Saturday morning, and by Saturday afternoon I could see Sonja's head was in a different space, and she was wrestling with the Lord. And we were getting ready for the last evening session, and Sonja said to me she doesn't want to join. I should go ahead, she needs time with the Lord alone. And I remember giving her that space, going to minister to the women. I came back late that evening, and when I walked into our room, I could see something was lifted from her. But tell what happened in that time.
As I was spending time with God, I realized, actually I saw a picture of when I was a little girl. And we went to a place every year, cousins and uncles. And that specific day, they all got on a bakkie, wanted to do something fun, and they said no girls. And in myself I realized I hated being a girl, because the boys get all the fun. And I made like an inner vow, and yes, I don't want to be a girl. What God created me to be I said no. So I repented, cried, and whatever God, and I told him whatever he decided me to be and want me to be, I accept it. And his plan is perfect. I felt it's done.
So I came into the room late that night after ministry, and when I came in, I said something lifted, and Sonja looked at me, and she said to me, "I'm healed. He healed me." And we just took it, God by His word. We believed it. That early morning at 5 a.m., took Sonja to the hospital. They started prepping her for surgery. I remember them taking Sonja away on the bed, and the gynae and the oncologist came to me afterwards while they're pushing away and saying, "We looked at everything again. Most probably we're gonna remove all the, and your wife will end up in ICU. Most probably this was gonna happen. And we've seen this a couple of times. We just want you to know, if she doesn't come back to this room, she's there, and then that means we had to do that big scale surgery on her, and we're preparing you. We didn't want to tell her that. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours later, now I'm sure they've taken it to ICU, and our chances of natural birth, whatever. But then after 3 hours, here comes Sonja down, the arm, and push her into a room, and so now I know what's going on. And a couple of minutes later, the gynecologist comes into the room. Sonja's still sleeping, And they said, "Can we speak to you, Mr. van der Merwe?" I said, "For sure." They said, "We don't know what we've just seen. We've got the sonars, we've got the blood tests, we've done before we opened her up. We looked to see where all the tumors were. We found them. Then we opened her up, and as we opened her up, there was nothing. And we look back again at all the scans we did, and we look inside, and we don't know what to say to you. All we can say is we didn't find anything. We just closed it back up." And then the oncologist said to me, "Well, now there's a problem because
somewhere else.
The cancer should be somewhere else because the blood tests and we don't know what's going on. So there's no cancer there. So she needs to come for extra tests, etc., etc. And she needed to be tested every couple of months. And it was clear. It was just done. And we knew it was that Saturday night. And shortly after her recovery, we fell pregnant with our oldest daughter, little Lana. After struggling for years to fall pregnant, we just knew God did something incredible. So that's an incredible story, a incredible reminder of God's faithfulness to us.
And also what he promised, and he did it. For me, that's it.